I'm shocked. I can't believe it's still happening here in Canada.
The death of a 7-month-old baby from the Atikamekw community of Manawan, Quebec, 250 kilometers north of Montreal, is at the center of a coroner's investigation after it took hours for an ambulance to arrive from outside the community. She died at Montreal Saint Justin Hospital on April 4th from complications of meningitis and COVID-19. Many in the Indigenous community saying the child's death is another blow to the community of unequal access to health care.
I can't imagine how the parents, the family is going through this tragedy. But one thing I do know is that we are in Canada. We are in Quebec, in that same community. So many people face systemic discrimination, systemic racism, plus Joyce Echaquan made sure in her last moment that we are witnessing the reality of what they are going through. So it seemed like it never ended.
The infant developed a fever on March 31st, and her parents gave her acetaminophen, believing it was related to her teething. By the night of April 2nd, the child's condition didn't improve and she was transported to a health center. But it was only 3 hours later, at around 11:45 p.m., that the baby and her mother left the community aboard an ambulance en route to Joliette Hospital, which is 184 kilometers away. The girl was transferred to Montreal, where she died on April 4th. The hospital saying they couldn't comment due to confidentiality reasons.
It is sadly something that has become normal to expect these types of waits.
Robert Bonspiel, an Indigenous paramedic, says Manawan is staffed with first responders, but they were on a mandatory break of 8 hours because their shift is 24 hours, forcing the family to rely on an ambulance service about 90 minutes north.
There's a lot of mitigating factors that would have probably contributed to the speed that the ambulance showed up to this very tragic call.
The Quebec coroner said in a statement, an investigation is underway to shed light on the cause and circumstances of this death. The investigation is a confidential process. We cannot confirm any information on the causes and circumstances of the death. At the end of the investigation, the coroner will write a report and can also make recommendations aimed at avoiding similar deaths.
The most important, it's how the Quebec government will act on those recommendations.
The government hasn't put in the necessary efforts to find a long-term solution. That includes putting an ambulance there, but even more so is finding the personnel to staff it.
Of the 6,000 paramedics in Quebec, Bonspiel says only 9 identify as Indigenous. He's working to incorporate training at the college level for First Nations paramedics.
People who speak their language, people who know what's going on within their communities, people who know the geographical realities.
On the federal level, Senator Audette says she will work to make protecting the community's most vulnerable a priority.
What can we do to make sure it won't happen anywhere else, or no, in Manawan also, but across Canada?
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.